Hello everybody and welcome back to another guide with me Genocide and with my assistant Lord Door,
Lord Door. Yes, I'm here to help.
and we're going to be looking at Sun Wukong. I think he's fallen off the meta pretty hard after season 1, but in the middle, was it, I think it was before season 1 or somewhere around in there. He was widely seen in the support role because of the minion clears that he had at his disposal with just as one alone. After he was nerfed, he kind of fell off because his one took a lot of damage reduction, so it doesn't clear the minions as effectively as before. But I still feel he was really good since one, he is quite tanky even without building many tank items. What I mean by that is, if you take a look at his passive, is when he reaches 35% HP and below, he gains a critical chance along with plus 10 protection plus what current level you are, so it's not plus 10 throughout from start to beginning, but it heck, like when you're level 1 it'll be 10, and when you're level 20 it'll be about 30, so it scales in between, and so does the crit chance as well. So, and what, like we just talked about, his magical sigil is his one where he slams down his where he pretty much slams down his staff in front of him. And the just to get 1 point of each everything. Pretty much is, you can see it's just a line nuke, and it has a little wind time, and you can switch your aim. It's really hard to mess an enemy with it. Really, it's a really good way to harass. And if someone's about to escape with very little HP, you can pretty much pick them off with it. It's really good for that. And for right here, pretty much I do agree. Since this, you probably most likely be seeing him in the solo lane. I feel he's still really good because one of the magic sigil, he pretty much will take your magic sigil and your what was it, master's will. Pretty much it's an AOE slow. It just goes right around you and you spin like so. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Does slows, deals damage. And yeah, it's 30% of the 30% slow for 2 seconds, which is it's pretty good, and it scales pretty well. As you can see here, the magic sigil does 80 damage, and it scales up to 140 at max level. And the actual Master's Will scales from 80 to 280 at max level, so it does a little bit more damage than the magic sigil. His third his third ability is pretty much what really makes him unique. Pretty much he can transform to any animal. If you target so real close, you become the boar, which means you run through everything and everyone, and it knocks up. The tiger form allows you, and the first enemy you run into stuns, regardless if it's a minion or not. Your third is pretty much bird, and it gives you massive movement speed, and you can. It's a really good escape tool or getting really close to someone. And pretty much, I'll show those off in a little bit. But then there's his ultimate, which you will see in a second, which is really strong. But we'll just, for starter items, you want to get the Bloodstone Pendant. And I do agree with the Hand of God because you're going to be in the solo lane, so you're going to want to be able to clear the mana camp yourself because you don't have a lot of burst damage by yourself at the early levels. You will get that burst damage later on, and the boots too for movement speed. It'll help with the escape. And yeah, I would agree with the health pots as well. This is the standard build, what you see in everyone's thing, so everyone would see this. And yeah, I do agree with the health pots as well for the sustain, due to the fact that the Bluestone Pendant doesn't give HP, so you might want something that will restore your health. So it's a little bit of way to sustain in lane. So you would buy that. On your first buyback, you probably would want to finish up your boots, and out of everything, you could go for Ninja Tabbies with them, because again, that crit chance from your passive would be really helpful, and you can maximize that with the increased attack speed. But then again, he is an ability-based god more than a attack and a physical DPS god. So pretty much Warrior Tabby is probably more recommended. but it depends on your build. If you're going to build them tanky, you're going to want to go with the Warrior Tabby instead. If you're going to go more on the physical basic attack route, then you're going to want to do the Ninja Tabby. So again, it varies on what your personal playstyle is. So pretty much what I'm going to probably focus on is more like poking and, try and lower his HP low enough for me to, defeat him. So I probably will go with the Warrior Tabby instead for my abilities. And after that, they suggest the Spirit Robe. This changes the Spirit Robe really does make it unique and really good. Not because the old Spirit Robe only gave you about 10 physical protection and 60 magical protection, so it's really based on magical protection and anything. And now it's 40 and 40 and 15% cooldown reduction, which is really good. But the passive is what really makes it really good now. Due to the fact that it's like you gain an additional 15% damage mitigation for 3 seconds when hit by a hard CC controlled ability. Lord Dor is playing as Tyr, and one of his abilities is really heavy on the CC. So as soon as he hits me with that, I will immediately start getting reduced damage. So this probably will end up being the only defense item I might have to buy due to that fact. Therefore, after that, I could probably just buy damage items. I could do that. Then there's a reinforced hammer. Since my opponent is physical based, I could go with this instead. It gives me pure physical protection along with HP, and all the physical protections I'll have in the future will become pretty much, it'll help me deal more damage. So again, based on who my opponent is, this is a really tempting item, which I probably will buy that for this situation, since I am against a Tyr. Then after this, you probably want to look for cooldown, since all my abilities do have a pretty extensive cooldown. So, I mean, they suggested Jotun's Wrath, which I agree, because you do have some mana issues early on. You don't have a lot of mana at your disposal in the early levels. Hell, right now I am at level 20. I only have 905 mana. That's not a lot for a level 20. That's hardly anything. I will blow through that so very quickly. So, I mean, it gives you a little bit of mana, it gives you cooldown reduction, it gives you penetration, and it gives you some power. So, I mean, it gives you a little bit of everything you kind of want. So I do agree with it. It's mostly made for junglers, but it's quite good. I would agree with this pickup due to the fact that cooldown reduction is really tempting along with the penetration alone. So in this situation, I definitely would get that because he most likely has some protections himself. Then after that, I probably would go for a Shifter Shield. Shifter Shield seems like a very defensive item, but it's actually a very good offensive item as well because of its passive. You gain 15% while your HP is 50% above the mark, you're on the good mark. You gain 20 physical power, so it helps you out, and you naturally get 40 from it. So in a sense, if you're at 100 HP, you get 60 power for a 2,700 gold item, which isn't bad, not bad at all. And if you fall below that 50% health range, that power becomes protections. And again, with the hammer that we just purchased, that part of that protections will also become a part of our power. So it works pretty well together, really. So I would still pick that up. And pretty much almost in any situation, due to the fact it's just so good. And you naturally get the 15 physical protections and magical protections as well, which is really good. They suggest Wing Blade. I don't know about that. The Wing Blade, it gives you attack speed, movement speed, and cooldown with 300 HP. Yeah, it's all good and all, but it really is not quite interweaved with our build so far. So I don't know. And also, our opponent doesn't have a slow, so it's not that great. Now, the Witchblade, on the other hand, the Witchblade actually looks really useful. It gives us attack speed, which goes pretty well with our passive. It gives us protections, which again goes well with the other item that we have. And the aura reduces their physical power from reduces their this here. All enemies within 55 meters of their have their attack speed reduced by 15% and their physical power reduced by 25. So I mean, one, it's a good protection item, and two, that protection is also being transferred into power as well. So I mean, in all, it's really good. So for our build, it pretty much fits. It makes us extremely tanky, and it makes it so we deal damage as well. So I agree with this. So pretty much, this is the kind of build you want to go on throughout the game. You want to get the blue stone pendant. You want to try to get to the ninja tabbies. Then, based on who you're facing, you might want to pick up the Runeforge hammer or a different protection item. Like if you're up against someone who's like a magical, you might want to go with a more magical based defense item than the Runeforge hammer. But since we're up against a physical, we went with Runeforge hammer. Then you want to probably go with Jotun's Wrath or something that gives you cooldown and mana, which I think Jotun's Wrath really fits that build very well and scales very well with you as well. Then the Shifter Shield, you could argue you could get Shifter Shield before or after, but again, you have mana issues with Sun Wukong because he doesn't naturally have a lot of mana to begin with. And pretty much at the end of the build, once you get all this stuff, you're of course going to sell the Bloodstone Pendant, which is really good and it'll help you keep mana even when your mana buff is gone. Then you can probably argue like, oh, maybe the Spirit Robe is finally good enough to pick up, or maybe like you can get Maja's Blessing for that CC to get it for that CC. But then again, yeah, maybe not, because after So what would I pick up? I'll probably pick up a different power item, something that gives us a little bit more oomph. Because we want to do more damage, right? We want to kill them. We don't want to just tank the damage. We want to deal the damage back. Am I correct? Of course I am. So we can pick up something more like maybe the Quinsai, maybe. Or maybe the Executioner. Depending on who the opponent is, if they have a lot of HP, you can go with the Quinsai due to the fact that it punishes them for going for HP items and having high HP. Now if they're more of a squishy like a Bakasura or something, you want more attack speed, and the Executioner is really good, is what's going to help you in that regard. So again, based on who you're fighting, you're going to have to itemize correctly towards that. So since it's tier, and I'm going to guess he has some good items. Oh yeah, he's quite squishy. So let's go with the Execution since I don't see any HP items at all. And now for actives. What are we looking for in actives? You could go for Hawk, the Wrath of the Gods, to help with Fire Giants and these heavy objectives. Or you could go with Fist of the Gods for a stun on your enemy and to, help securing kills. Based on your playstyle, you might want to choose one or the other. In their own right, they're both good. But since we don't really have a lot of CC except for our 3 ability, I would go with the Fist of the Gods for additional CC. And for our next active, you could choose. I mean, you can use the teleport to be able to get back and forth the lane quicker, and it gives you a presence throughout the entire map, which is a good. God, I had to say it like a weird person. But anyway, it is arguable that it is. You pretty much place a ward, then all of a sudden you can show up in a team fight. And it's like you're dueling with Tyr on the left lane, and your team's contesting for Gold Fury, and it's like an even fight. You can just show up there with the teleport, and while it's no longer an even fight, and they pretty much have to give up the Gold Fury. I mean, you're most likely going to lose your tower, but you're going to get Gold Fury in return, so it's a trade-off, really. But then again, if you are able to deal with Tyr, make him go back so he's not in lane, then you can teleport, and voila, it's a win-win. So it's pretty much how you want to play it out. So that's my argument of having the shielded teleport, because it's quite useful being able to get around the map very quickly without having to use your 3 ability. I forgot the name of it. It's like 72 transformation, I think it's called, something like that. I mean, there's these other ones you can pick from, like probably the athlete spear, sprint you can probably pick from. I mean, there's so many you can pick from that it really just depends on your playstyle. But for now, we're just gonna go and show you in hand what it's like with him destroying all my towers for no good reason.
I love you.
Yeah, just while I'm talking about this, you just have to do this to me.
Yep.
You just have to do this to me. You
So I'll
know,
meet you in the middle lane to make it fair.
yeah, okay, fine, be like that. With my middle lane tower nearly dead already.
Hey, I haven't been there.
Yeah, right.
My minions are just that strong.
No, you've been there. I saw you. I saw you on the minimap. I'm not that dumb. I'm not that blind either. But
All
anyway,
right, well, let's show an example of how it works.
pretty much you want to max. I think even though it's a little weaker, but you want to max out your one because you're able to get the entire minion wave in one go without putting yourself in risk. Because you have to literally get up there and use it like that. So let's just max out. Then you probably want to max out your 2. You probably want 1 point into it at 3, at level 3 at least, because it provides a stun, a knock up, and an escape. Then after that, you want to like max out your ultimate and your 3 at the relatively at the same time, because your ultimate's good at all levels. So pretty much the idea is to clear the wave, is to do this, and to wipe it with your 2 as well. And you can use your initiation, poke, and your ultimate allows you to go up into the air, and he's forced to fight your clone, and you can go right on top of him. And the ultimate deals a pretty good hefty amount of damage as well, and it gives you a clone. I mean, who doesn't want a clone of themselves? Seriously. And that's pretty much the gist of it. He built a little too squishy, and he deals a lot of damage in the late game. Just getting there is the hard part. So let's actually show them what they want to look. And actually, there is a visual thing for Sun Wukong when you can tell when he is using his passive. Man, can we just spawn you back already? Because I didn't want to kill you actually. You died too soon on me, baby. Why?
I'm sorry.
You died too soon on me.
Well, we gotta wait a few seconds.
I'm just gonna wait here. You know what? I'm gonna make you pay for taking all my towers when you're not supposed to. Oh my gosh, I hurt this tower so much. There we go. Now we're somewhat even.
Somewhat. I took a lane.
I know. That's why I said somewhat. You know what? Just to make things even. See how quickly I'm killing that thing? Oh man. Okay, here, just knock my HP down a bit. Yeah, I want. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, see right there. See how I am glowing right now? That is the indication that my passive is in effect. And my stats have changed a bit. I wonder. Okay, let me see how often I can crit. See, wow, I just critted there, and I don't even have any crit items. And I think that means I have 30% crit at my current level, if I am not mistaken. Yeah, it's 1% crit. Yeah, let's see, I gotta read the passive again because I can't remember off the top of my head. Yes, it's 10% crit chance, and it's the same as the passive. So pretty much it's 30% crit chance I have at the moment, because I'm level 20. So you can count them out. So yeah, you deal a lot. You deal a good amount of damage though. Let's just pop my health potion. Let the CC train commence. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Oh no! No! Run away! Run away! Retreat! Retreat! See, I accidentally used the target when I should have used something else. I forgot. The bird. And you know what? I'm gonna just use my passive, my ultimate. And when you're up in the air, you can stay up here, and you get a massive health regeneration. So it's pretty good at that. Oh my god, the stupid minions. But I can clear the way easier than you can. Oh my god, run away! Retreat! Oh my gosh, and now you have seen, I don't, wait, there is, oh, that's right, I didn't yet to show the ox, the ox form. The ox form is really funny, and it actually works very well with a jungler or Wheelix. Really well. I'll show you on these minions. You'll see what I mean on these minions. See, I knock up everything that I run through, and this also includes gods. And deals a good bit of damage. Each one of these deal a different kind of damage. Let's take a look at the stats. See, the tiger form scales from 100 to 308 plus whatever. And it stuns for from 0.6 seconds to 1.4 seconds at max levels. And all levels in between. And you're going to kill me now. You're mean.
No.
I'm not even looking at the screen. Yeah. And the ox deals damage from 50 to 210, so it doesn't deal as much damage, but it's that knockup really. That really synergizes well with a Wheelix, because it's a very good knockup. I think it's a little bit better than Geb's knockup, because one, it deals more damage, and it actually knocks them up a little bit higher, so she has a little bit more time to react to it. I'm gonna get away.
Yeah.
Ow! Ow! Basic attack hurts! I'm out of mana! But yeah, you pretty much now see the general idea of Sun Wukong. I still feel he's really strong, and he's underused and underappreciated. One, because his ultimate it gives him some good sustainability. It allows him to regenerate even if he's badly wounded, and also there's an upside to it as well. When you're fully healed, you can pretty much have yourself, and you can deal some good damage, and your clone and you can be attacking the same target. Here, I believe the clone does deal some damage to Wukong, leads up into the cloud, leaving a decoy behind to fight. While in the cloud, Sun Wukong becomes invulnerable and regenerates health. He may leap off before the duration expires, dealing damage. The decoy inherits a percentage of Sun Wukong's current strength and its defense. So it's not strong as you, but it literally does about the same thing. Okay. The decoy is killed instantly if hit by a hard CC. So there is ways to deal with the clone. If the decoy dies, Sun Wukong is revealed in his cloud. So I mean, it's not bad. So it's not overpowered where you can play tricks with the ultimate though. It's like around the corner, you can activate it around the corner where you know there's someone there, and your clone will go after them, and they might mistakenly like use an ultimate or something like that. You can probably bait out some really big abilities, and you can just then go on them and just punish them for doing so. Which I have done personally in the past, because it's really hard to tell the difference between the two. Okay, so we just confirmed that the CC from Tyr, his one ability, does not indeed kill it instantly, like it stated in the explanation before. So probably more like a hard stun or something like that, instead of
like Ymir Frost,
like
the ice, the stun ball.
Yeah, things like that most likely are what will kill the clone instantly, regardless of how much HP it has. So, I think that covers really everything about Sun Wukong and his strengths and weaknesses, and pretty much you, again, have to build according to who your opponent is. I mainly built what you see here right now to who I'm up against, which is Tyr. You might come across like a solo lane Poseidon or something like that. Then in that case, you're going to want to build something on more magic defense instead. You gonna send me to the graveyard? Or just... Oh. Yeah, this ain't awkward at all. Ah, fine. I'm gonna go
So
home.
tanky.
I'm gonna go home. I'm going home.
But okay, I'll take your clone. No.
Does a clone deal damage too? Good damage? Does it irritate
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, it does. Ah.
That crit though. That crit. And now, since we're gonna now let's go back and take a look at like what if the opponent is more magical based. I know it's running a little bit long, but this is gonna be quick, simple, and we're just gonna get this over very quickly. Again, if they're magical based, see here, what are we gonna want? We want something that gives more magical protection to begin with, because we want to survive the early game. So instead of a Rune Forge Hammer, you're gonna probably want something else. And because we're going to get rid of Rune Forge Hammer, we're going to have to change the build completely for almost everything. So you're probably going to want to get this instead, the Arcanal, or Ancile. I cannot pronounce that to save my life.
Ansel.
Ancil. You might want to get the Ancil instead. It gives good protections, it gives a good power, it gives a cooldown reduction. And it's the stacking item too, so it really fits the solo lane as well, because you're going to be stacking. So that means it just gives you, yeah, you permanently gain 0.5 physical power and 0.2% cooldown reduction per stack, and you receive 5 stacks for a god kill and 1 stack per mini kill, and the cap is 60. So I mean, you get a good decent cooldown, you get good decent power. So I mean, what's not to love? It's going to be really strong against a magic based solo laner. And because we're getting this, we might not want to get the Witchblade. Instead, you might prefer to get something more, maybe Hasten Fatalis, or maybe not even that at all. You might want to get like a different, maybe get a crit item. But I would still get Shifter Shield regardless of them being magical or physical, because it's just that good. Because one, you get that power, and you get that protection. Excuse me, I just burped a little bit. That was a little gross. Anyway, moving on. So, well, okay, so pretty much we would get rid of this, and for the stacking item instead, which wherever I put that, you know what, we saw it before, we all know what it looks like. Great, wonderful. Moving on. There it is. And we'll probably want to pick up something else. We'll get rid of the Witcher Blade because of so, and we still want attack speed. We still want that attack speed. We might change our focus on something a little bit different. So we're going to attack speed instead, and see what we would prefer to have. We could go for the Civil instead. We could do that. It is not a bad idea. And the reason why we don't get lifesteal is the fact that our ultimate has massive... Wait, what? Oh, it just kicked me off. Whoops.
That's rare.
It's because I was not moving at all. Anyway, my argument of that was because your ultimate gives you pretty much health regen, and therefore you don't really need it for that. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And just remember, when you're building Sun Wukong, you probably first, like any other warrior, want to build a little tanky to survive the laning, so you can stay in lane long enough to, get gold XP and make it worthwhile to come back. And pretty much just farm up to the point where you are very difficult to deal with. You want to get wards to not die, to ganks, and you want to be there for the gank and pretty much make sure your opponent dies. And rotate for big objectives. Pretty much is what you're looking for. Other than that, you're playing a solid solo laner, and I hope you have fun with Sun Wukong. So Lord Dora, anything else you want to add?
Just remember, have fun and enjoy the solo lane.
Oh yes. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.